Thank you so much, Suzanne. Well, the privilege is that TIA, for us, it's a national entity. It's an agency of the Department of Science and Innovation. So we are mandated to support innovations for commercial venture creation, for public good, both actually. And with that, we are placed right at the nexus of industry, market players, but also public service delivery provisions for the country. So that means our stakeholders are multidimensional for the benefit of socioeconomic outcomes of the country. And with that, we then are able to have a line of sight of some of these key challenges, but I won't mention exhaustively. I'll just highlight maybe top 3 or 4. And one would be the high, barriers of market entry, especially, AI as an emerging industry, an emerging powerful enabler for us to transform our existing economies and actually even forge new ones that have not been provisioned for. And with that comes that challenge that was mentioned even in the previous panel, that you might find that you're coming up with a new frontier and everybody else has to tag along you, including the regulatory environment. So the inventor carries most of the pain with that. And another challenge would be around limited commercialization capital in the country and the continent. And a factor that is relevant mostly to academia R&D would be the long lead times it takes for the innovations to convert in either concluding the IP transfer transaction that is happening between the entity and maybe with an industry partner, or maybe if the academia institution decides that they want to create a spin-out venture to sell that innovation. So if it takes too long, you're missing your coins in the market. And lastly, I think my colleague has already mentioned the awareness part, so I'll skip it in the spirit of time. And lastly, the generic challenge in the national system of innovation, it's more around the varied regulatory hurdles that come with new frontier IP. And also, you find that there is a low conversion rate of IP in a country that has intense knowledge capital. Increase so that we and creating new startup companies and new ventures, the more money the country makes to funnel back to our GDP. But I'm more than keen to also highlight the opportunities of why we need to be in the space, but just to hand back to you, I'll elucidate on that later.
Thanks so much, Melise. There's something that's very interesting for me that's come up in this talk that you probably wouldn't have heard in the previous talk, and it's interesting because it really touches on where some of the deep tech and AI innovations are coming from. Very often they require a lot of R&D, like really in-depth R&D. So you would have heard the word commercialization from both Melise and Priyash. That's from the public sphere. Instead of talking about market development, we're talking about commercialization, i.e. how do we flip the innovation, the IP, into. So I do know that TIA has just launched this year's pre-seed and seed funds. So please go check those out, guys, if you've got early stage ideas. But I was hoping Melise would also just share one or two of maybe just a headline of opportunities that you're exploring right now.
Okay. I'd like to tag on to your pointer just now. With those challenges that I have mentioned, it's precisely the reason why we are working centrally in the NSI, because with these challenges, we are able to work with different clusters so that we can have captains of industry, market leaders, the captains of IP, people that are smart or two even smarter than us, and having grassroots innovators. In all of this, the convergence of that is that we are taking a rather industry approach to solve the systematic challenges and to open up market opportunities for our innovations. With AI and deep tech, I'm just going to highlight top 3 grand challenges for our country from maybe let's just say my